How are we live now? Are we not? Let's see. Maybe we are. Yes, finally it works. Technical difficulties here on Friday. Ahoy. All right, let me mute my where is it? My volume here that I am not getting a feedback. So happy Friday today, a little bit earlier. We are making a couple changes on the webinars and how we're doing things. Probably are going to go every second week, and I'm going to try and be a little bit more hands-on with you guys. And today we're going to look at staining, at the different staining kits that we have, the differences. I'll run around a little bit, so if there's questions or anything, let me know. This time here, because I'm in the lab, I only have one screen, so if I don't see the message right away, please apologize, and I'll try to, get back to you. Get back to you guys via a message, or sort of. I'll probably make a bit of a series out of this here. So if I'm not answering like this time, then maybe on the next one. Okay, so what I have here today is I'm going to try to switch the camera over. I got to do this by hand. My stream deck is not working, but I'll show you what I got. I got the Vita vacuum mat 6000 in here. All right, so we can look a little bit at that display. I got a close-up camera set up where we can hopefully then see a little bit more about the actual stain glazing. I'm going to turn this around here just for a split second so you can see what my bench looks like. And I got good old trusty GC staining tray, pulsing tray, whatever. You can use whatever you want. A lot of people are using these discs. Some fireproof surface, of course. We got some pads which are coming with the Vita furnace, whatever you're using. Might be maybe using something like this. These mats are really helpful. I'm not selling all the products what I'm using here, but the majority of them. You've probably seen that one, right? The one that carried up still got these mats. There's do I have a box of them? I think I put the box possibly out of that. It doesn't really say anymore. But they're called perfect pads is what I tried. I like these. They come in different sizes. I've tried and looked at different ones. Sorry, the lighting is a little off here. This is for molars, not this is a pre-molar actually. This is for a molar. And there's some interior ones on there. Why do I like these? All first of different sizes. And I like that they have, I hope you can see that. Actually, let me try to switch over to the close-up camera now. Maybe that works better. Sometimes it's like coming off. I can see if it comes up. Look at this. Why I like these is they have a good little extended version here. You can put them with the hemostats. I like the hemostats which have a pin in them, because then you can throw your hemostat somewhere on the surface and the fan's not going to touch where you're putting this. What else am I using? Some Amazon purchases here. These tweezers are real cheap. They are, as far as I can tell, zirconia. So we all had, they make the version as well here, you squeeze them to open it. If you ever had black marks on your restorations, those are a good little hunting tool. What else do I have? I have all sorts of different versions of stains and paint material, and I tried it out. And I'm gonna try and switch over to the other camera here again, and show you a couple of the products here again. I was trying to do like a picture that you can see my face while I'm talking, but well, maybe for the next time. And this time was a little bit crazy with all the things. We couldn't quite set it up and prepare it the way I wanted. Anyhow, I think it's the setup on the camera, sometimes they come across. What else do I have? I have probably not that one. Simple pipe here. I have used more Vita equivalent. I've used Instapack. I don't remember the name of the stuff. I think the classic where everything's solid out with Wonder Pack. I have used the Allen River version. I gotta be honest and tell you, I don't see like major crazy differences in except the AG version. I don't want to necessarily blame that too much. As you know, I've worked for AG for a long time, and I really like the products. However, the head kingdom, I'm not a fan. Mine separated in the syringe. Maybe I had it sitting too long. I don't know. And it wasn't very stable. I know some folks have had some, I guess there's some, that this one is so soft that you don't even use the sandblaster. I don't care using the sandblaster. I have one here. If you don't have one, get a sandblaster, get a steamer, put in zirconia, those are the two essentials. Maybe skip the glass beads, go straight to aluminum oxide. Thank me later. Look it up, Google it. Clean surfaces, of course, we want to have a Vita Classic shake guide. Get an original. I'm seeing so many posts that people somehow are trying to save a buck, and then the shades are not even remotely close. Get some good lighting. You want to be above at least 5,000 Kelvin. Usually you want to be somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 Kelvin when you're doing this kind of stuff. If you have not stained yet or glazed yet, please give it a try. I'm going to switch back to my front camera and ramble here for another moment. The polished units just don't come out right. I don't know if I have one here, but I've had a hand piece here. Maybe if there's time enough, I'll maybe polish one up. Maybe I prepare that for the next one. The polished units, polished zirconia looks very, I would call it opalescent. So they basically they're like an isource, the inside of an isoshell. And that sometimes can be a desired effect. In majority of cases, that's not really what we're looking for. You do need to polish at least the contact surfaces, so not the epoxy ones, but your functioning contact surfaces, your occlusal guiding contacts, your lateral intrusive contacts, depending what piece that is. Because there's plenty of studies out there that polished zirconia is pretty gentle, and if you're just putting glaze on there, it will eventually wear off. Yeah, and then it's just too abrasive. So what's the struggle with all that? When you are just polishing if you are polishing and glazing, that's ideal, I'd say, but it's difficult to polish the contact surfaces first and then apply the glaze on it without the glaze bleeding up on it and pulling down. There are some crazy devices out there, some plasma devices, whatever, which might help with some of that to break the surface tension. I haven't tried those. What has worked for me is glazing the unit first. I'm trying to like semi-prepare the unit, not a full polish and the contacts. But I'm going from coarse or medium diamond to a more fine diamond, and then maybe a medium rubber wheel, stone, whatever, you know, and then a rubber wheel, and maybe just not the high gloss rubber wheel. Maybe even that. It's again, then the glaze might pull back. I like that better than to stop kind of in that prepared stage and then put the glaze on there, and then you want to take your high gloss rubber wheel, and they make diamond impregnated rubber wheels step by. We just added in, but I think they all perform really nice. Well, and then you basically just shine up the unit and polish up those surfaces, and that should do it. And then you're polishing or rubber weaving through the glaze again, and then you get a discrepancy in how that looks, but it's under guiding surfaces. I think that is it's okay. That's a good trade off in between. Now, lots of rambling and very little glazing so far. Let's try to change that. I want to tell you a little bit more though about what I've used and where I was unhappy, and why I ended up with where I ended up with. I have used some of you guys like that. I've used Tanaka Zircon. That's a powder stain. I still maybe use it for some custom stuff. I feel like none of the Stain&Glaze kits is really complete, but some of them are getting really close. I've used Initial, great kit. Many people using it. I've been using it for years. Love it. There's also some downsides on it. Now you can use the spray glaze if you've never done anything. Maybe start with that. The viscosity is pretty good, and you can already boost your pounds, achieve a better look than if you're just polishing. So now what's new? You already saw that on the emails and the advertisements. CeraMotion, not necessarily in the perfect color pink. CeraMotion One Touch. CeraMotion No Limits. Do you really need all three kits? No. If you're not doing this kind of stuff, you don't need pink. All right. Save yourself some money there. Or you have other ways, maybe. CeraMotion One Touch, this one here was the original. Before, now it's even newer companies than new. People have copied it, and this is the you want to call it. It looks like. Yeah, take the brush out. I'm not using this one. I'm opening this up. Okay, this is how the kit looks like. Pretty typical. We get a working liquid and a refresh liquid. We get two brushes with it, which is nice. So that's a very nice and thin brush for some detail work. And there's a shorter one, which has a very short tip on the bristles, which is nice to work the 3D paste what we have. I forgot when I showed you all the kits to mention that I have also worked with Emacs stains. I also have worked with Neo quite a bit, and so don't get me wrong, I like Neo from their 2D tastes. I do not like necessarily that glaze. It says fluor on it is not fluorescence. And their 3D paste hey, if somebody who's using Neo and can make their 3D paste work, I don't have a big deal anymore. If you have some secret sauce to it, how that works, please contact me. Because everybody I'm talking to is like, yeah, I've tried it, I stopped using the 3D paste, but the 2D paste is good. Well, this is different on this one. The 3D paste actually works. So what's the difference? Neo calls it structure paste. The CeraMotion kit, which is actually, by the way, from Mentorum. Mentorum is a company in Germany, and I think they make good stuff. You know? They're not small; they're in business many years already, and they make good things. The 2D paste, I think, is your regular stain. Okay, the glaze is colorless, neutral. Okay, and then the 3D paste, I'm going to see if I can maybe show you that on the running here. Maybe on the neutral. Maybe two good ones to show you that. And maybe let me break out the blue and let me break out my face. There you go. Without focusing on this one too much on the no limits kit, this is the 3D master kit. So if you're using something different than the classic tape guide, you have an option for the 3D master shapes. That is fantastic. That's the only kit so far what I've seen out there where it's both available and where they integrate and tie into each other, and where it's fluorescent, and where it's easy to handle, and where the structure paste work, or the 3D paste that I call work, and don't look like amplifiers. Yada, I'm rambling again. Let me put this away. Let me repeat really quick if you don't have glaze before. Get yourself a spray glaze if you want to try this kit on it, and I would tell you why you should use this glaze and not just the spray glaze. Yes, with the brush is a little bit different, and takes a couple seconds longer than just going with the spray glaze thing. Well, the problem is you don't have any control with the spray glaze. The viscosity is quite thin, but it's great, so you're applying a thinner even layer. Hopefully, that's the theory. The reality is, and the fossa of the molar that starts to cool up, so you have more in there. I don't like spray glaze. I'm not a fan of it. Your mileage may vary, but it's something very easy if you're just getting into things. Now, I have not seen a fluorescent spray glaze, and this stuff from Mentorum here is all fluorescent. It was one of the things I set myself out in Chicago to figure out, hey, I want fluorescence in my stains because I hate that there is none. Why? Full version, I know Richard. If you're looking at zirconia, there's only really one out there which is fluorescent, and it was that there used to be the lava aesthetics in William. Okay, and they I have not milled their pucks and checked their fluorescence. I've seen the stations, but I've never had one of these guys here with me. Let me see if I can show that on the video. You see what's happening? This is fluorescent. Okay. Important for a young patient, zirconia is not fluorescent. Porcelain is. You can also put this in with porcelain. The problem basically, if it's missing, is a young patient could go on a rave, let's call it, or into a disco, or into a nightclub, or whatever. And there's some black light there, and you restore a beautiful looking number 9's, perfect anatomy and quality, everything is looking great. And then you're smiling, you know, I don't know, pretty girl, pretty guy there, and they, if you could smile and you see like one of those teeth is way darker because it's not fluorescent. You don't really see that out in the natural light or under artificial light that much, but we do see it also. And the artificial light doesn't really has the UV in there, but our sunlight does. And I don't know, if you have been doing that for a while, you're probably going to check an anterior crown somewhere in the natural light You're taking the patient out somewhere where you have good lighting. You're taking them out of the artificial environments, and that's why you're checking your shades. And then maybe you're going into like a brighter area, shading a shaded area, and you're double checking things. Well, your sunlight has UV light in there, and that makes things fluoresce if you have that in them. Long story short, try this case. I spoke with Holliger at Opulent. We have now decided that the paste and everything is available individually. We have put together a little starter kit. So you don't have to buy the full kit, which is great, because if you're looking at Neo, you actually do. And then once you bought the kit, you can buy the replays. Well, we changed that here. That hopefully is perceived well and gets you to try some things out. Just buy that glaze, maybe buy the blue, maybe buy the ABC shades, and then you're all set. Even if you don't want to buy the ABC, just buy the glaze. Try that. Now, first things first, I want make a unit. I'm going to try and get the camera back on here at the close-up. Actually, before I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you how to use the peg material. I have this fitting in here, but of course it's falling off. I don't necessarily like holding them with something and having to transfer them over onto a peg. I like the peg fix. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to first clean the unit. It's been sitting in my car. This is solid effects, and you're going to steam it. That is nice and clean. Have your hands clean, no lotion, whatever on there. If you're using Kleenex, don't cheap out. Maybe you find a good cheap brand, knockoff brand. Make sure there's no lotion over there. Okay, so if it's just gentle to your nose or whatever, stay away from it. All your brushes and stuff need to be squeaky clean. Okay, you might have to steam them actually, but if you steam them, you have to also dry them out again. So what I would actually do is shake them out once you steam them, and then take some of the working liquid and kind of rinse them out in that, and then shake them out, and then let them dry. Then we get a nice clean tip, and you don't have any contamination. Contamination is the most common issue and all of that. Okay, then let's get the break stuff. I'm looking at the time, we're 30 minutes in. So by the time I have my founder on here, you're looking at the 3 hours anymore. I'm joking. Okay, that was just either syringe, straightening unit, pack it in there, and I fill them up. I let that peg material squeeze out there. That's kind of helping you, protecting your margin line a little bit. If your glaze rolls over, the other done that, and then just a little rubber band in here, and that's how I'm hitting the unit. If the glaze rolls over on the margin line and gets into the crown or on the margin, then you have to clean that up later on. So I said in the beginning, hopefully you have a sandblaster. At the very end, you can use the aluminum oxide with the pressure, I don't know, $2, something like that. And clean the unit out, steam it off again, and then we can do that. We are going to use, for starters, the paste glaze. And by the way, there is 2 versions of it. If you're buying this to glaze, there is a paste glaze transfer, and there is a dye. And there is a fantastic little cheat sheet. I can probably get you the digital version in this handbook. You see my pasted note in here, and I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but there is a nice table on here which is telling you but this is for VC and CeraMotion. Well, I'll tell you something. I also works this funny. This it says VC there, right? But you can sort of apply it to Stain. It's a fantastic feature. And we could here look, I don't know, feed shade A3 is telling me LT A3 is the ingot shade, so in that case, zirconia A3, right? And then zirconia paste glaze transport and shade of incisor 2D I2. And that's where it's getting a little, in fact, because the 2D I2, I think, is actually from the other kit. But again, we're now allowing you to order them in that. Okay, let me switch the camera over. And I'm going to show you a couple of other things. Okay, so here's my unit. All squeaky clean. Some of the party sorry for the stuff under this display. I connected my actual Sony camera. Keep that for a side track. We have the paste glaze. The transport. I want to show you. First thing I made is I took this non-stick pad. I took the clean spatula, tried to avoid metal. I have a spatula here. Don't use metal, be very careful. Things like wrap around on things. If some metal particles come off, that will contaminate. Now here's the 3D opal. And you see that piece on here. I just took the spatula and I put some in that non-stick mat. Fire it, make myself a sample. You want to know how the stuff looks like? Just because they're saying honey on the packaging, they're pretty good here with this company, but man, I've seen a lot of good stuff. They're calling it one thing and it's coming out another. If you have a sample, you know what to expect. And then that's another thing to maybe see. This is our unglazed unit. This is kind of what we're after. There's a glazed unit here. And let me see if I can get a look on it. And there isn't a ton done. And I know that the close-up could be better. My camera stops focusing with the lens, what I have here. It's the best for right now that I can do. But there is glaze on there. There's some material on there. So I think some of that was on there. Body, TV post, and then there's some blue one for it's up on the other kid. Incisor I2 and I3, yeah. And just to show you what this looks like, this is already like a really nice mix. You can mix and match all of these together, 2D together with 3D. Here's the other incisor shade. Whatever you want to do. And I want to show you the viscosity of things. So if you understand what the difference is in between the 2D and the 3D. So here's a 2D pod. That's one. I mix this through. This is how any glaze 2D paste is going to look like. Then I'm going to use some of it. Compared to 3D opal honey, that has basically a low fusing porcelain mixed in. You can already tell if I'm doing this. It stays in place. Yeah, I can take a huge lump out here and it stays on it because it has porcelain mixed in. So you can use something like this to make a micro layering, basically. You know, it's kind of like in between, I'm going to say, in between stacking porcelain and Stain&Glaze. So that's like the 3D paste, I would say, is like the next level. But not quite stacking porcelain. You can add some material to fire on an epoxy contact. You haven't had that. Sometimes, you know, I don't know, the temp was too tight, the model wasn't variable. Whatever happens. I just have to make I'm mixing up my thoughts now. And then we're going to start with the glaze. If I haven't mentioned that, which I realize now I have not, there's two liquids. There is a diluting liquid and there is a refreshing liquid. Okay, the refreshing liquid would go eventually into the pot if the viscosity is not correct anymore. And then only like a drop and mix it very through. Rather have it on the thick side. If it's not like dry as bone, don't add anything. Okay. And then the diluting liquid is your thicker viscosity from the pot, maybe somewhere on a clean plate, and then you're basically diluting it to the consistency what you like the liquid. And it is nice to have couple of drops of the diluting liquid on the working plate. We're going to take some of our glaze paste. That on here. And let me try to show you something again. You see this? Yeah, it's distracting in the back end. It is fluorescent. Okay. I just messed up my my liquid, but yeah, that's okay. And you can use like to use. You can use a different brush as well. That's all up to you. I prefer this brush. It's the same glaze because I'm there, so I know I can only look at this one. And here with this without like this. Try to keep them for the same thing. Okay, so now we have that. Possibly I like to I leave this just like that. Don't make the glaze too thin. If it is too thin, you are and just that your unit will come out. Okay. Now you want to basically apply to show you this as best as I can. An even layer of the glaze. Some people say make a thin layer, some people make say two thin layers, some people say make one medium layer. Some people are pretty heavy-handed with their glaze. I tend to be somewhere between thin and medium and the thickness. If it's too thin, like I said, you might have some spots where you thought you had glaze and you ended up not. They look bad, but there wasn't enough on there. And it will look funny. Okay. So now when you're coming close to the margin, you want to basically get down the unit, not up, because then you're taking what's on the brush and putting that right into the unit. You could stay away from the proximals if you want to. I don't do that. I make my design parameters in the way, but I can glaze the whole unit. And if you're thickness is about, let's say, 0.1. You can already get that or something like that in the software. You know exactly what to expect. No pretty points. Make the context just actually pulling out a little bit lighter, that's what I'm saying, keep raising. And we're good to go. So now I think I'm not even done, but I'm keeping with the plan now. You can already see a huge difference, and now I can. Sometimes I need to take this closer to you, so if it's disappearing from the camera, I'm sorry for that. There's not much I can do about that. Now this is already looking a lot different, having a better luster on there. You're unable to accomplish something like this with just polishing it. So now, when the glaze is on there, this is when you want to shape check it. I've had a couple of people on the phone who were like, I just want to get the glaze, I just want to get the glaze. Oops, I just turned off, sorry. That's okay, I get it. I don't know what shade it was. Most zirconias I've used, that also I'm going to spare you the list now. I've played around with it. Most of them are not the shade what's saying. Yes, I get it. This is going to be complicated here, and I know it's probably going to be like in a 1 range here. So I would assume that might have been an A2 puck actually. They're always usually about a half a shade lighter. So if I take an A2, which I'm assuming that was, it also depends on the mask, which block you have, and I'm holding these up together. You can see it's looking good, but it's lacking value, and yeah, maybe a little bit of promo. The inside it actually looks pretty good, and I'm sorry, I can see that a lot better here than maybe you can see that in the video. I can talk. However, also handicap. Get yourself one of those since it's the backside of my brush. The cheap endo files. They're great for physics. I'm not even gonna dabble around with the 3D paste right now. I'm only gonna take and paste 2D body A, and try to avoid water. I'm basically now gonna try to warm this up a little bit on the neck. I took this straight out of the pot. Sorry that you couldn't quite see that. Straight out of the pot. You could dilute it with your glaze material. And get it to that value what you would like it to be. I find most of the cases not even necessary. It kind of makes it quote unquote under 2. But I don't know how well that comes out there on the camera. But on the close-up look, just that little bit what I did now here on the lower third makes a huge difference. It's bringing the unit alive. If you're just polishing them, you don't even know what's possible. You need to go to somebody who does that, see what they're making out of the zirconia, and they're putting some Stain&Glaze in there. If somebody's talented, I'm not gonna not even do difference. I don't even care what kit they're using. This is my favorite. I just soft to Stain&Glaze instead of putting prepared. That was that. And then I take maybe the regular I2. So that is like a clear color. I don't know how I can hold the unit. If you can see that best so that I can still see what I'm doing and working. I'm basically trying to create some sort of halo. And it doesn't need a lot. Okay, and you might have to actually enter this. You need a picture. There's no way without without a picture. I'm not number 8 and number 9, and at least have a picture. We'll see the picture. My opinion. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, with the halo. This is why there's this text upgrade. It doesn't even matter which way I'm putting this. It's not going to touch the plate. Actually, this place a good angle. You can see the backside video. I haven't really showed you that. And you can see how it changed quickly. Okay. And what I'm trying to say with the halo is, if this is my incisive edge, yeah. You see how there's like the clear plastic ring. Imagine this is my incisive edge, the clear plastic. I'm not going to put any glue there, but here where the white is, I'm going to put some glue. So there's going to be a space in between where there is none of that bluish gray. Sometimes it's a little violet, sometimes it's just gray. You can, even if it's not a C shade or B shade, a little bit of gray on there, it is so helpful for like a more translucent and dynamic and deeper effects. And you know what? This is it for me now. I could mess around now more with maybe this, and I could introduce, hold this a little bit. I could maybe take a darker stain here. I think I have some bigger stain on here. You can see up here. I'm going to try and get a little bit of that. And now you would basically match the shape tab and the okay, so now I just put a little bit of something with the dark side on here. And if that was too much, take a little brush, fade it out. Into the other things. Take it off. Okay, so now it's a little bit of nothing. All right. And I'm going to take the shape tab. I'm going to compare, and you can see my incisor is still lighter, and my volume is still not quite there. And I'm way closer, especially looking at the silver clip here. I guess it depends on the angle. Yeah, and see if this is an interior, you now really have to look at the picture. Another little trick on why these units maybe look a little funny is there's a lot of light there because I'm trying to capture this as good as I can. If you really want to look at the value, grab these two, go underneath the bench and type it, you know which one, go underneath the bench and check it in the shade of the bench basically, because then you can really tell the difference. Okay, so let me switch camera. Time. When I was seeing actually my best, and I close things up here and put the unit in the oven. So again, I haven't even used all these things which are on the table, but it's just to show you the viscosity. The 3D paste, I'm going to save for another one. And I want to keep this simple. And I want to point out I didn't make a big deal out of it, but there was on the lingual surface. This morphology is like a shovel, right? It was concave, not convex. Some of the glaze pulled up in there. If I have a brush, I can work this out. I can redistribute that. I can put that on a napkin. You know, if there was too much on it, I can control that with a spray glaze. Difficult. I think on this around, so you can hopefully see the display. But you can see what is going on here. Unfortunately, the Vita doesn't allow to remove them, but I'm hoping you can see what's going on. I have it on standby. It's on 449, 450 was programmed. There's different users you can program in there with names. I'm here at the section for YZ Stain&Glaze. So I have some generic ones in here. And then I have a CeraMotion 1, 2, quick glaze, and CeraMotion 1B. Well, what are those? The CeraMotion 1 and 2, they're out of the booklet. Okay, so you can't see that just by clicking on it. It actually now opens the chamber. The CeraMotion 1 and 2 are out of the booklet. So this is starting at 450. It is pulling a vacuum. It heats up to 55 centigrade per minute, up to 730, and it stops the vacuum hopefully a moment before it reaches that, or when it reaches that. And there's issues with things, and basically I need to run out. Actually, my son's now and I kind of really didn't pay attention to the time. Unit on the tray, so I'm going to take this right now. Unit on the tray and here, and I'm going to fire it in my program, which is a little bit higher. I've increased the temperature just by a little bit. I'm on 750, 760. I don't know, 650 instead of 730. But hey guys, that was fun. I hope that wasn't too boring. And I'm gonna say bye-bye here, and I'll hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.